Hi there, it's Kevin with Rogue Deck Builder here with this week's episode of the Tuesday Brewsday. This week we are going to take a card, my number 5 card, from the top 10 list of cards I want to brew from Kaldheim. And it was the Dragonkin Berserker. This has the boast ability of creating a dragon. So let's build a dragon control deck, or just dragon kind of mid-range deck. It's also a nice little first striker, 2/2, can trade with most things. Well, not really trade, can actually be a good blocker until you're ready to start attacking with it. So I thought that the best dragon in Standard right now is probably going to be Korvold, Fey-Cursed King, or the Goldspan Dragon. And just for kicks and giggles, we're going to run a 1 of Terror of the Peaks. So a little bit top end, we might need to cut some of these Goldspan Dragons, or I'm not sure, because there's a lot of synergy with Goldspan Dragon and with the Korvold Fey-Cursed King, as well as Gadrick, the Crown Scourge. So Gadrick, the Crown Scourge, is going to create artifacts whenever a non-token creature dies, and the Goldspan Dragon is going to allow you to create, or allow you to sacrifice treasure tokens to do 2 mana instead of 1. I don't know how well that is going to work in this particular deck. In fact, Goldspan Dragon might be the weak link in this deck. Like, this dragon is really, really good in like a blue shell or a white shell where you can cast a bunch of other spells, or even like a mono red where you have spells that you can then cast off the treasure token. This is going to be a little bit awkward with it, so this is the card that is most likely going to be on the chopping block going down to like a 2 of or something. Again, it does have the synergy with the Gadrak, but Gadrak actually does really well in a sacrifice deck because we're going to be creating food through Gilded Goose or Witch's Oven. You could even go in like the Trails of Crumbs to add even more of the food tokens to actually get this guy online. You just have to have 4 or more artifacts online, and then Gadrick can start attacking. Or sacrificing opposing creatures with Witch's Oven and claim the Firstborn gets more food. So you have like the sacrifice shell. And what's really cool is the dragon, the vampire dragon, the Immerstorm Predator, is something that does also sacrifice creatures. So then you can really go into the sacrifice type strategy. So between Witch's Oven and Immerstorm Predator, you probably have enough sacrifice outlets, and then you can play things like the Crowan War and claim the Firstborn. Now, if that ends up being the strategy that's winning us the most games, possibly we'll go more into like a Kroxa shell, where Kroxa and food, or Kroxa's Witch's Oven creates 2 food. That is pretty close to getting the Gadrick online. If you have like Witch's Oven, Kroxa, Gadrick, you're 1 food away from then attacking in. So Summoning Sickness, then the following turn you can create another food, and then you're swinging in with a 5/4. So that might be the better route to go. I'm sure this deck is going to change as we go, and like I said, maybe the Goldspan Dragon goes down in numbers. We go up in like the Korvold Fey-Cursed King, or maybe even up in Terror of the Peaks at that point, because it does even have synergy with things like the Kroxa Titan of Death's Hunger. So we do need some room for different cards in here, probably more control cards. Like, I am running Bone Crusher Giant because I don't think that there's you're in red, you run Bone Crusher Giant. The card is just super, super good. You have the synergy with the Terror of the Peaks. Again, I'm feeling like the Goldspan Dragon, even though it does create those treasure tokens and has that synergy with Korvold, that possibly this is the, go down in these and then bring in even more ways to steal creatures and get Kroxa online. Kroxa at this point with like Witch's Oven isn't even that bad with multiples. I mean, the problem with Kroxa though is we're really not utilizing our graveyard, and we're not throwing a ton of stuff in our graveyard. We could go like Timurit's Calls the Dead in this case, but that is going to then it'll lead us more into the Immerstorm Predator type deck, which is already a deck that's going around right now in Standard. We could even go into more of the Saga-based route with Korvold Fey-Cursed, because we have the Timurit and then like the Binding of the Old Gods, which both sacrifice, which then gets some sort of synergy. Who knows? Maybe that's a route too. But this is the focal point I really want, is like the Dragonkin Berserker and like a Gadrick and then one other dragon. So you have this kind of nice little curve here, and then the Dragonkin Berserker can start attacking in, and maybe even sacrificing itself for a 5/5 dragon creature token. Like, where I think this card is actually better, like, I still want to build like a Goldspan Dragon deck with the Dragonkin Berserker and then just pure control. So you're going to be running, maybe if you're in black, like Heartless Axe and and just everything just remove the, or even a blue at that point, where you just remove, and then the Dragonkin Berserker ends up being like an alternate win condition, because then it's left out, and then it can create one for 5, then the next turn create one for 4, and you're leaving up mana to then do things as you go. So there's that whole aspect of it too. This could end up being the weak link in the deck, where it's kind of unnecessary and too cute, and maybe we do have something going on with this kind of food. Bringing back the old school Corvald Fey Curse food deck. Like, you don't have the only thing that's really missing from that deck is going to be, like, what rotated? I'm trying to think of, oh yeah, you'd have the main one that did rotate. You do damage every time that you sacrifice a permanent. Yeah, that was a big loss. And it also with the cat got banned. But still, you still have the Corvald that can get out of control. You still have like you can go higher in the food, and the Trail of Crumbs and something like the wolf. And that is another route we could go. And they do synergize well with Gadrick still. So I think there is something here. So let's play some games and see where we're at and see what needs to be done. This is what I really like most about Magic, is fine-tuning these decks and seeing where the like holes in the deck are, and where we're losing and what could actually make us win. And then we'll go from there. Alrighty, so we'll play some ranked here, some ranked best of ones. And best of 2, this gets a little more exciting, because this is a deck you can actually put in a bunch of sideboard cards that I think are pretty decent in the meta at the moment. So this is going to be, it's interesting card. We do have a red source. We can crack a Fabled Passage first turn, and then we'll have the red source. We do need to find a sacrifice outlet. And yeah, I still think like going in the sacrifice shell is going to be pretty good here. So I'd rather, instead of Croak's a little bit early, there's no Witch's Oven to sacrifice it. I think we just go in here with a Dragonkin Berserker. And we're going up, it's a red-black deck, so this most likely won't survive. But Gadrak might be pretty interesting if we can get a Witch's Oven. A Stone Cold, oh, okay, we're just playing against Cheese. So see if our opponent scoops because they miss. Yep. Cool. You just use 2 cards. You're down big mulligan here for a Talisman, because then you can tutor up more. That's kind of lame, though. So what is the best way to start getting in for damage? Well, first of all, we'll just get in for 2. And yeah, I don't see us getting there with, like, I think just like hard casting a Bone Crusher Giant is like the best route, because we need damage as fast as humanly possible. Possibly could have made the argument for Gadrak, but I don't see Gadrak coming online. So yeah, if they can go Wishclaw Talisman and do it again. Do you have the card in hand though? And I gain the Wishclaw Talisman. So you have it again. So you have double cards in your hand, and you hit the Wishclaw. And hit another Wishclaw. Okay. So my opponent's getting kind of unlucky with where they're at. We do need mana, unfortunately. Like, because this put it into our hand. Just like put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. I don't want to give my opponent 2 cards, so I'm just going to hold on to the Wishclaw. Unfortunately, yeah, we just don't really have anything good. So, Claim would be good if we were reanimating Croxus, so I guess that's just the best thing we can do, is possibly get something out of our opponent's hand. And we'll get in for 6. And see if they have another Stone Coil or Tormod's Crypt in their hand, so they can go for another Tybalt's Trickery. This goes back, so don't want to be doing that. And they do get a big creature. We could draw like a Crowan War. Yeah, nothing in our opponent's hand. Unfortunately, we are pretty far away as well, so let's keep getting there for the damage. And at this point, I think it's going to be just like another Berserker, because that's lethal next turn, rather than going the Gadrak. And see if the Cheese deck just misses. And they got unlucky. So 2 triggers decided not to... Oh, they needed to draw the 0 drop. That's why they didn't want to go the Wishclaw Talisman. So see if they find another Tormod's Crypt. Yeah, it looks like they did. And now they're going to have to find Ugin off the top of their library. So Stone Coil. Oh, just going to hard cast Stone Coil. So unfortunately, Stone Coil can just be... So So not much of a game here, and our deck dirtled pretty bad. So still thinking the food route is going to be the right route to go. So I don't know where this Dragonkin Berserker is going to fit in to the mix. But that's what I kind of like about brewing with new cards, is it takes you back to old archetypes, and then maybe there's some cards that were missed. Like, who knows if people have tried the food with the dragon? I'm pretty sure they have with Gadrek. But the Witch's Oven with Kroxa does seem like a very, very good little combo with Claim the Firstborns, Witch's Oven, Kroxa at that point. I think if you go heavier on the spells, you can fill up your own graveyard just with spells. So I don't think you need to go like many other cards to fill up your own graveyard. I know that's what a lot of people like to do with Kroxa, but you can still do it with a very heavy creature-based, or not creature-based, spell-based to remove all your opponent's creatures. So we have the Ruin Crab. So I think it's still wise to get a Goose, because Goose can still ramp into things. So Ruin Crab is good with Kroxa. I mean, when our opponent's playing Mill, that's always a way to do it. So at least we get to get rid of one of these stupid Ruin Crabs. And unfortunately, it's getting rid of... Well, actually, we don't want any of that land. So yeah, we were flooded. So our opponent did us a huge favor there. And I still think it's worthwhile just to claim and kill a... So we'll go... Just a mountain's fine. We will go not a red source. We'll go green source, Witch's Oven. Claim. Eat the Ruin Crab. And it is what it is. So maybe we'll get there. Maybe we won't. Hopefully our opponent can mill that Kroxa. Heartless Sack, that's kind of a waste. I mean, it did its job. And our opponent missed a land drop? No, because they're... Alright, so we have a Corvald. So it did stop us from ramping. So... Throw out our black source. Pass the turn. So we'll have the Immerstorm Predator. I think running claims, too. I think that we're just too much into Kroxa. So a couple of routes I can go. So double Merfolk Windrobber. More of the Lurus build. They can crack the... Pretty sure one of these is going to get cracked to try to hit a land drop. We still don't need another black source for Kroxa. That's what kind of sucks about this deck, is we're not running like the temples for the double black, double red gets kind of hard for Kroxa to get back, but surprised my opponent's not cracking a Merfolk Windrobber. Berserker. Well, we'll throw out the Immerstorm Predator. Man, going all in on Corvald. Because food by itself gets pretty good. Food gets a lot better just having the mana base, having the red-black and the black-green land. So our food is worth revisiting. So we got a dragon here. Which dragon would we want? I think just slamming Corvald is better. And we'll sack a food. Put a +1/+1 counter on it. Get another land. Go to combat. Attack with this. We're going to actually exile a card from our own graveyard. So let's get rid of a... Yeah, we'll get rid of just a swamp is fine. And that takes our opponent down from being able to block with everything. Our opponent did get very unlucky with missing the land drops, but I think it's their own problem. What my opponent should have done on that second turn while I had 8 cards in my graveyard is sack a Windrobber, hit that land drop. You have to hit your land drops as rogues. You need to get Lurus out at that point. And then start juggling the Merfolk Wind Robbers to then find like Into the Stories. And this was just a little greedy to try to hit that drop naturally. So another Soaring Faith. 1 mana left. Can't attack in. Can attack in with both and sack the one I block, but this is whenever... Okay, whenever you sacrifice a permanent, yeah, it's not mirrored with the way the Devil was. Not to do a damage. Opponent decided not to attack in. Okay. Unfortunately... Well, Terror of the Peaks is going to be pretty good just to get out. So we can go... I could actually attack in with Corvald, too. Could attack in with the dragon here. So what do we need? We still need red. I don't think there's another point for green here, so we'll just throw out a red. And then... Yeah, we'll throw out a Terror. And... I actually think we just continue to keep the pressure. I think that is a better play because there's a lot of resources. We're ahead on resources. We're going to start getting a lot of value out of the Terror. So, again, we're going to go for our graveyard. I don't know if it's actually... Actually, we'll get rid of a Ruin Crab this time. And this is going to force my opponent to make a decision on where they want to go. So we can sack this, which draws as a card and puts up to a 6/6. And again, I'm okay with losing Corvald here. We might be able to lose both, but Terror should win us this game at this point. Just going to sack both of them and draw. Which is reasonable. We have a good draw outlet going. We also have a good exile going with these Merfolk Wind Robbers. But we are down to 36 cards. Problem is that the missing the land drops is taken away from the into the Stories. They could Heartless Act on the Terror. Still would take their turn. Mill another 3. Not found Croxa yet. And a Drown in the Lock. So, yeah, well, let's go ahead and sack it. Gives us a card. And 2 food. And then now we can start pumping out. Okay, our opponent's just going to scoop it up. So, I mean, I want to showcase this Dragonkin Berserker, but I just feel like we either really need to highlight it and go all in, and maybe this isn't the right deck for it. I still want to try like a blue-red tempo deck with it. So I know a lot of people are, they're playing with the Brazen Borrowers and the Bone Crusher Giants to get like a tempo shell going with the... But let's make... I think this is where... Like maybe even the Goldspan Dragon doesn't even want to be in here as highly as... It creates a treasure, allows you to sack the treasure for Corvald. Yeah, I'm feeling this card wants to go down. I'm feeling that... Like, I think Terror of the Peaks is even better synergizing with the Dragonkin Berserker. There might be something there just with like the Goldspan Dragon, Terror of the Peaks, and... No, I still like this with the Immerstorm Predator. Now I'm overthinking everything. But let's see what other dragons are in the mix. I thought there was one that actually stole a permanent. Opportunist Dragon. That'd be a good sideboard, so you can choose an human or an artifact opponent controls and then gain control of it. That's definitely going to be in the sideboard. Now this is really cute with how that can steal. A human or an artifact. You know what? That's almost main boardable in right now in the speakers. So you have and it's a 4/3 for 4. That card actually seems like it could be in the main. Oh boy, I think for the memes, like it's better on curve than there's just not enough room. We're actually pretty spoiled with the amount of dragons we have. Is Terror the Peaks, I think, is cute with Dragonkin, because the whole idea with Terror the Peaks is then you can boast it, and then you create a 5/5 red dragon. But at that point, is it more of a win more card? And Opportunistic Dragon, though, is pretty hilarious, though, even with witches up. Anything that runs like humans or artifacts. When it enters the battlefield, choose a target human or artifact opponent controls for as long as opportunity remains on the battlefield. You can control that permanent, and it loses all abilities. You can't attack or block. So you gain control of it, and then you can sacrifice it to Witch's Oven or the Emberstorm Predator. I feel like this card wants to be in the main. And, like, I think what we're going to do with these two, like Goldspan, I hate doing this, but I think Corvald wants to be the focal point of this deck. I don't know if it wants to be, is 2 of to get there? Like, we have no draw is the problem to then get. Like, now what we probably want to do is, like, add, we want to add the village rights. And at that point, though, the Dragonkin Berserker, maybe the Dragonkin Berserker just wants to be a 2 of. It's out there early. We do want some 2 drops. And Village Rights can go up to like a 3 of. Gadrak still, to me, feels like it's maybe Gadrak's just a 1 of. Then, to synergize with the ability for, we go like, so the Dragonkin Berserker, and then we could go up to a 3 of for the Berserker. Because it does get a lot better with... In Gadrak, you do want to see him. I mean, the whole point... Yeah, Gadrak's probably a 2 of as well. I think these legendaries want to be 2 ofs. And that gives us, like, even more boom here. And that gives, like, Kroxa gets a ton better. A Crowan War still wants to be in it. Maybe... Like, I hate Bonecrusher Giant's just too good not to play. And it is still... Yeah, it's not synergizing, though. We're going to cut the Bonecrusher Giant just for maximum synergy. And then, like, Kroxa probably wants to be a 2 of. Just so that we can get the synergies with the Witch's Oven. And at this point, it's like Trail of Crumbs adds... So Trail of Crumbs with Gilded Goose add 2 food. And yeah, I think Trail of Crumbs to get us there is probably where we want to be. We'll do a 3 of Trail of Crumbs. So Gilded Goose, Witch's Oven, Trail of Crumbs, Dragonkin Berserker, Claim the Firstborn, Village Rights, Gadrak, Opportunist Dragon, and that would be something you could swap in and swap out. Possibly it doesn't need to be a 4 of. 4/3 is a little bit of a liability for it. The Crowan War, maybe we'll do a 3/3 split with the Crowan War, because the Crowan War does just grab it, and we do have the ways to sacrifice, and now we're getting a lot of value out of sacrifice. I think Kroxa is a 2 of is the right thing. And I still want to put these guys in like a 1 of Goldspan Dragon. I don't think we can cut the Emberstorm Predator because it's another sack outlet. And we have to have like 7 sack outlets is probably where we want to be. I don't see us going down in sack outlets. Corvald, I think, is a little bit better. Trail of Crumbs. This is again where we could put like Terror the Peak just does feel like a win more card. Now I'm thinking about it. It's off curve. You're going to be like casting... It does work with like the Dragonkin Berserker with boasting, but if you got like a Dragonkin boasting, you're probably already ahead. So this is an unnecessary card. This is kind of the wild card as a Goldspan Dragon because of adding that treasure tokens does have a way to actually turn Gadrak on. But again, I think it's just the wrong curve for it. So as much as I want to play it, I think this is now a better list. And Opportunistic Dragon actually does seem like its main board. Like it's not terrible as a 4/3 for 4 versus most matchups. That's pretty aggressive, and it's super good. When it's good, it's great, and it can grab Maze Mind Tomes, so it's pretty decent versus. I guess you can't use them though, and we have no way to sacrifice them because there's no sacrifice a creature. Is there anything that sacrifices a permanent besides Doom Foretold? Whenever you sacrifice a permanent, yeah, sacrifice a permanent with a blood aspirant too. Yeah, I guess there's nothing. What does Doom Foretold read? Oh, I'd have to go into white. That's why it's not showing up with Doom Foretold. So at the beginning of each player's upkeep, they sacrifice a non-land, non-token permanent. Sacrifices. Huh. There are definitely some interesting things that we could be running with sacrificing artifacts. I don't think there's much at all. I guess we could have looked for that too, with sacrificing an artifact. But yeah, it doesn't look like there is anything right now. I think we can put the quotations here. Sacrifice artifact. Huh. All right, so that's pretty decent, though. I think that we'll have a better time of getting where we need to get. I wonder if my mana base is all messed up now with the Trail of Crumbs. Probably is. We probably want to go higher on the forests over the swamps because we were relying on the early green sources here, but now we really want an early green source. So maybe 2/4/2. So we have double red, only one double red now, and that's Opportunistic Dragon. So we could actually go down, and so 3/3/2 split might work. 4/4/4, 3/3/2. Croxodillo does want double red and double. It's like, do we want a temple here? No, I think we just, if Croaks is gonna be late anyway, and we'll just get there how we get there. All right, let's go ahead and try this one. I think that so we'd put like the witch's wolf in the sideboard, which would be like the wicked wolf would be pretty good in the sideboard. It has even a 4 because we have this like food archetype going, and fighting a creature is pretty decent. I wonder if Sorrowful would be a good card anyway in the sideboard for this, even though we'd be sacrificing our own like 1s and 2 drops, but or destroying our own non-land permanents here. We'd have to fill up the sideboard with other stuff. It'd be your usual stuff, probably like Duress. Maybe in a Great Hand would go in the sideboard, but let's go ahead and try the dragons here. And again, this guy here, the Boaster, he might just be a liability and go more into the sacrifice route. But I think that we're on to something good here with this particular deck. I mean, it is kind of reviving food. And I guess the argument would be, would there be a better just 2-drop like a, Milling or Timurit or something like that could make it work? I think this is actually acceptable. We have action, and I think this is an acceptable hand because we have. Oh, now it's a really acceptable hand. So we can start off with a green source for a Witch's Oven, because we're most likely to play this one for a red source for a Trail of Crumbs next turn. And if we can actually make this hit, I think that we are in great shape. Going to run a main board negate. If they are, I'm going to cry. And this guy's definitely a weasel if he counters the spell. He's a weasel even if he doesn't counter the spell. Shark Typhoon for 0. So we're going up against, this is the new Tier 1 deck. So it's going to get a lot of value out of Behold, and it's trying to get a Shark Typhoon. That would be something else in the sideboard as Wilts. I'd put Wilts in the sideboard for this particular deck. Man, it's so rough not playing a Bone Crusher. I wonder if we'll be able to, like, we are low on removal after not playing Bone Crusher, though. So I think that we could get, oh, we don't have double red for, yeah, I think we just go black here. And just put out a Berserker is fine. Berserker's kind of cool, because it most likely against this deck, it's going to eat a Bone Crusher, but we have the Witch's Oven to protect it. And our opponent just looked at the Witch's Oven, so see if they go for it. Frostbite. We'll still kill it. Still get some value out of those crumbs and try to hit our lands each turn. We do have some high impact cards too. That opponent is cycling the Shark Typhoon, which is such a good thing for us because that is going to be a tough card for us to beat. I think we can beat everything else in the deck. Gadric's getting close to a payoff here, but we need to hit a land drop. And there we go. And unfortunately, it's another black source. So would we want black over green? I think we do because that's Kroxa level there. Yeah, I'm cool with that. So takes us down from Gadric. Like there you have it. We were already there with Gadric being able to attack or block. And so Bone Crusher just to my face, huh? I mean, I guess you want to get Bone Crusher out to start getting aggressive. And blue 1 Frostbite. So I'm sure we're just going to Behold here. It could be Essence Scatters. We have Claim, though, for Bone Crusher Giant. So really depends. Like, I still think we want to sacrifice a food. We want to hit the land drops here. And there we go. There's our other red source. And then we'll play this down as a red source. And then we'll claim it. We will claim the Bone Crusher Giant for ourselves. And then attack. And then we'll eat the Bone Crusher Giant. That Bone Crusher Giant didn't do much. I guess it did 4 damage, but it provides a food that is going to give us 3. And again, our opponent just... No, don't get rid of those beautiful... So I still think hitting land drops is the key here. We haven't been able to hit one naturally, but we found one every time. So a failed passage actually fills up our graveyard more. So I'm going to go ahead and do that because we do want to get there with Kroxa eventually. We have black, so we could get another green, and that's fine. Now we have 2 of each source, and now we can go get our beautiful Gilded Goose down and our beautiful Dragonkin Berserker. It's interesting with food, too, with food having a revival, is one of the bad matchups. So right before rotation happened, like food was a tier 1 deck mid Throne of Eldraine. So early on, before we got into Ikoria and Theros, it was a tier 1. It was really until like Shark Typhoon came out with where it started to lose favorability. With the Wilderness Reclamations were a very, very rough matchup for it. And then the Fire's Invention too. Fire's Invention was a tough matchup for food. But those decks don't even exist anymore. And the decks that it used to prey on was like Gruul Adventures. Or it was a Gruul Aggro at the time. And Gruul Aggro was arguably as aggressive or more aggressive than it is now. And then it was also super good versus a lot of the control-based decks that existed at the time. So I wonder, and food was really suffering from was a bad mana base because you didn't have either one of the pathways that worked with it. So it's interesting that people haven't on week 1 just tried food again, at least the Jund food. And losing the demon or the cat and the devil, that was arguably like the best part of the deck, but I don't think it's unplayable without it. So here let's just chuck down good old Gadrak. Because Gadrak can start getting in for the pounding. So let's go ahead and pass the turn. Guess I could have sacked a goose there and there's a little synergy with Witch's Oven. So there's a golden dragon. And we'll definitely make the trade there. Oh, not going to attack. So we'll just sack a Trail of Crumbs. Pay the 1. And at this point, I think we do want Senior Kroxa. Because this is going to now into hold control for this bad boy. We can't claim. Claim is 3 or less, so can't claim here, but we will be able to claim the Kroxa later on. So Kroxa can come down, and we're holding control here, so that way we can sacrifice it. And we're actually going to make another treasure. There's some synergy with Gadric right there, too. This deck is just full of synergies. That's okay with the Kroxa getting Essence Scattered. We can actually bring it back. Not quite. So, Opportunistic Dragon bad here. Can't attack in. We can still block. We didn't hit a land. We can possibly just go for a land here, or we can just get more stuff out to start. I wonder if killing my goose and creating a treasure. Nah, we'll just go for a predator. Predator seems fine here. And we could kill our goose so to attack in, but I think we're okay. And that got countered. It didn't get killed, so therefore we do not get a treasure token. Behold the multiverse. All right, so we're going to see who can actually grind out more value here. But I'm excited. I'll have to work on this deck for a while. I have a feeling this Dragonkin Berserker is going to be relegated to the sideboard and not into the main. And then it can be brought in versus... It just doesn't feel like the right deck for it. I think this deck just wants to be in a switcheroo. Like, it wants to be in a control deck, and then you swap it in as your only creature, and it can get out of control. So Frostbite on the Predator. And we'll get another treasure. Opponent is debating whether or not it is prudent to go for a Gilded Goose here. We do get a treasure token if the Gadrick survives, so we will block with a Gilded Goose and sack a treasure, a token to get another. Well, do we need Gilded? No, we don't need Gilded Goose for Kroxa. We have Claim the Firstborn on Kroxa, so see where our opponent's going with this attack. Yeah, I can actually sacrifice the Gadrick, no problem. But I think we'll use the combo. And get a forest. Speaking of my end step, I create a treasure token. Okay, so you have to kill stuff on your turn for Gadrick, which is fine. We'll go with another red source here. And let's go with Kroxa. Because there's nothing else in the graveyard. Yep, we can go with Kroxa. And we can leave up a red source. So, see if this one will grind out our opponent. Wonder if Kroxa wants to be a 3 of. Alright, so opponent's got to ditch a card. And now we can claim it to give it haste. And then do I want to sack this to be able to attack? Then we'll go into attackers and attack in. And only got rid of a snow-covered island, but still mana. And did 3 damage too. And they got rid of a Shadow Skull Summoning, which is huge. So what does my opponent still have in their hand? Like, the only thing I'd keep over Shadow Skull Summoning at this point would be like a Shark Typhoon. And there's going to be the scoop by the Weasel. The Weasel scoops it up. So there we go. All right. I'm going to make an executive decision here. But the biggest issue is I'd need... Well, the thing is with these guys are... Yeah, we'll keep it as is. That was a card we wanted to showcase. We'll keep it as is. I think this is all the time I have. I might have time for 2 more if it's a quick game. It's a long grinding game like last one. Maybe not. Seems reasonable. Trail of Crumbs is another card that might be debatable to be 4 of in the deck. Oh, doesn't seem reasonable. Oh, yes, it does seem reasonable because we can just crack this for a green. I didn't think we had. We do have all of our sources. So, Snow-Covered Plains. This is going to be tough unless we can find a way to get it. We got the red here. Well, let's play this one. Who knows what other source we need for Trail of Crumbs. And we're on a clock with the speaker. But a Crone War will take care of it. And Selva Savior does not protect it, which is good. And now we have a red source. So we will do the Witch's Oven. Possibly I could have just cracked a food there. Yeah, I could have cracked a food for a land. But it doesn't matter. I'm hoping like a sky maul on the speaker here. A Basri Ket. That's also okay, because now we can dish off some damage to Basri. So we're taking 3 here. And then we can actually even crack a Fabled Passage. What do I need, though? I don't know what I need with the Fabled Passage. Well, no, it'd be a red. So unfortunately, we don't have the mana to Crone War and Village Rites. So, yeah, we can... Oh, I should have saved that actually for Corvold. Yeah, that was pretty bad of me for doing this, but I'll get another red. And then we can Crone War. Grab Speaker. And then sacrifice the Speaker. Oh, yeah, we can't hit Basri because we have Summoning Sickness. It doesn't give it haste. But we do get another. Oh, wow. Why would you play the Speaker? Oh, you can give it Indestructible. No, because it's going to be on my turn that it hits. So an Expedition Healer. Sure. It's fine. Dragonkin. Dragonkin's actually pretty interesting because I force attacks in. Over Corvold. But what do they have to kill Corvold? Is the question. And that's just like a better payoff. Yeah, this is just a better payoff. Because then the Crone War dies as well. So opponent's got a couple of plays they can do. Nope, can't use it, but I do get a card. Okay, Claim will be good next turn. We have a 5/5. So they need a Banishing Light. If they play Banishing Light, it takes the turn. It takes the mana. Basri -2ing. And I don't care about that. You're going to attack into the Speaker. Tack, and I have double Indestructible. And you just lose the Selfless Savior, because I'll block the Expedition. They have Vigilance? Vigilance? I guess they do have Vigilance. Alright, so block here. Force out the dog. Give it Indestructible. We just block the damage. Basri dies next turn. Oh, it gets a 4/4. Yeah, we can still take it, though. Oh, and just lost your Speaker, my dude. I don't know if that was the right play. So we're going to get a card off of it. And then we can claim. So we will claim this Firstborn. And then go to combat. Let's go ahead and play Green Source. Go to combat. We want to play this Trail of Crumbs first. Do we have enough mana to activate everything? We do. Kill Basri. 4 to the face. Sack of food. We will pay. And get Kroxa. And we will pay. And get a Goose. And then go ahead and dish off the damage. And then we can Village Rites on you to draw 2 more cards. Draw 3 cards. And that's all she wrote. Now, can my opponent do an additional... So they can Faceless Haven. So maybe... No, I definitely want to attack. So Basri... Okay, Basri's going to take the turn. Put a +1 counter on an expedition healer.
And find our peace.
But they're just going to scoop it up. Pretty decent. Pretty decent. Ranking up even with our food deck. Jeez, yeah. Even without my cheese here, I think the food, like I said, over and over in this video, is worth revisiting. Because it seems like it can match up pretty decently. Especially with this new dragon that is another sack out. I like it as good as Woe Strider. Like, Woe Strider, you can mill, so you can go into the more heavier on the mill strategy. But this dragon is pretty potent. It's not terrible. Like, if I were to mull this and keep a... I think it's fine. I think this is fine. We can start with just a Fabled Passage. I can understand getting the black. But we'll just go ahead and get the red for the Berserker. A Temple of Mystery. So we're going against that T-Bolt nonsense again. And we'll go ahead and get the Berserker. And let's see if we just lose to it. Here it comes. Oh, really? They do not have it. So this could just be just ramp. Unfortunately, we don't have anything either. We are 1 mana to get it activated. I'm just a big fan of this card, though, because it's something... Like, I like cards that you can... Uh-oh. Womp womp. Didn't have a black for the Village Rites. I'm a big fan of these cards that you can actually pump mana into, and they don't just fold. So this is where we want the dragon, the haste dragon, because we're just going to lose to Ugin. That's fine. Like, Ugin is going to be one of our holes in this deck, but the fortunate thing for us is Ugin isn't that good in the main tier decks at the moment. Like, we have some Yorion decks that do run them, but Yorion's still on this more Doom Foretold flavor now with Binding of the Gods. I guess there's a Sultai control that's running it. Double Vision, huh? A Double Vision card. So we can get our boy out and sack a forest. But not sure what Double Vision is gonna. Probably can kill my Corvald now with Double Vision. Migration Path. Okay, they're going to get 1 billion lands, so we are definitely going to die to Ugin. There's an opportunistic dragon. That's not going to do anything for us. We'll go ahead and put out a forest and get this dude out. Our Immerstorm Predator. And then I'll go ahead and attack in. And get rid of a forest again. Opponent's down to a 14. Just hope they have all mana. Mana. I'm going to cycle the Migrations Path. Don't want more mana? Mana. You just have all mana. No Ugins. No Ugins. We are jinxing you. Because we do not even have lethal next turn. I want you to play that Bone Crusher Giant. I'm going to foretell something. And Double Vision, so you're going to behold the multiverse and draw 1 billion cards next turn, huh? Or do you have something you can play this turn? Just can't play that one. There we go. You just gave us lethal. That is where we like it. Alrighty, so thank you, good sir. The tap out. Kapow! Gave us lethal for playing that Bone Crusher. So we sneak away a win that is a terrible matchup for us. And hey, we're on our way to Diamond. Let's play another one. Let's play another one. Yeah, Crooks wants to be a 4-of in here. It definitely does. All right, so we're gonna put it as a 3-of. I'm gonna put this 2-of guy down, and we're gonna put one more Croxa. But Croxa now wants like, yeah, because I think it's the synergy with the village and the. We still have some weird mana with this deck though. Like it's definitely not shocks. These pathways. Pathways are nice because they give you the option, and they're really good with cards like Gilded Goose because you need that early. Like some of these cards, you need the early mana to come into play untapped and not ping you damage. This one is not a keepable hand. We are going to mulligan it because we do not have a green source. And I think that we absolutely need a green source with this deck. We go first as well, so we want a quicker one. Unfortunately, this is probably as bad or worse, but we do have action with like the Village Rights Claim. And then we can throw a Corvald. So we are a little bit low land. I might need to go up in land count as well. We're running 24. It probably should be a 26 land deck, to be honest. So we'll start with the black source because this gives us more options if we draw a red or a green source to then use as needed. Unfortunately, this can be a Field of Ruin. We'll just do another black source is fine. This will most likely be a red. Field of Ruin typically is going to be like the mono. Another Field of Ruin. Hey, kill. Maze Mind Tome now give us the Opportunist Dragon. Okay, so we'll get him out. I can always sack him to draw 2 cards. Our opponent doesn't really have anything either. Kind of cool with double Gadrix too because you can create 2 treasures for. Oh no, yeah, you create 2 treasures because the Gadrix would. No, they wouldn't. You create 1 treasure. Opponent is scrying, and this double Field of Ruin has to make me think that. Oh no, you know what they're probably on? They're probably on the mono black one with the artifact that doubles the mana. That's fine. Let's go Fabled Passage. You do get my probably Village Rights is what you'll end up getting. See if our opponent scrides again with the Maze Mind Tome. Indeed. And unfortunately, you get to see my hand, and you most likely will take the Village Rights. It's a tough decision whether to play the Immerstorm or play the... But it's definitely the right call. Of course, best case scenario is to draw a beautiful land next turn and get Corvald out. Here we go, land off the top. No land off the top, but we will sacrifice Gadrak. And that will give us some... Now we have the land off the top. Now we have another Predator. We'll probably run into an Extinction event, but this is worthwhile. And we'll just get rid of Failed Passage. And that's all she wrote for me. Opponent's still in kind of a weird position. I think they're still, yeah, desperation mode for lands. They missed the land drop. Like, I will cry to an extinction event, but it's not the worst thing to happen. Exile in my graveyard. Skyclave Relic. So there's some desperation for lands for sure there. Now we need an opportunistic dragon. I actually can't cast an opportunistic dragon, which kind of sucks. Oh, you're going to give me another card in the graveyard. Thank you very much. I guess I would have had a card in my graveyard. Missed another land drop as well, so my opponent's getting unlucky with these. Oh, no! Well, we wanted it, but it would have taken the Skyclave Relic, which would have been hilarious. So we'll get the forest out. Give me a red source. There we go. You're in my opponent's graveyard. And now we're attacking in for 9. And so we do have lethal on board, and we actually have a pretty decent... just say sacrifice another. Can we stack them? Sacrifice... No. Sacrifice is part of the cost. So I can't stack them. I was saying if there's an extinction event coming, I could sack, but you can't do that. But hilarity will ensue with the Skyclave Relic. And yes, I do have a way to sacrifice my opponent's permanents for everyone watching. We have Corvald. So what does 6 mana have for my opponent? Like, I'll be okay with an extinction event because Corvald will go up to a 6/6. So extinction event on evens. Oh, but then I'd have to choose. Maid's Mind. Definitely okay with that. Gonna just scry. So needs a Heartless Act. I wonder if my opponent's frustrated too because they have all Heartless Acts. I feel for you, Tim. I feel for you. So a Blood Chief's Thirst. Doesn't matter to give it. Okay, so we'll go ahead and sacrifice it. That still draws the card. And now my opponent can be like, what the? Give me that Skyclave. At least you get to keep the Skyclave if you kill my opportunistic dragon, though. Still think we want another red. Green is something we don't really need a lot of in here. Unfortunately, Claim does not work with anything. And Extinction Event is a real thing, too. Now, my opponent does have an Extinction Event. I think we're just going to end up losing this. The good news is we have Croaks with Claim the Firstborn, which could easily be a victory. So, let's see if there is an Extinction Event. Bottom it. See if they did get the Extinction. Don't you do it! Oh, look at that. We take down another one. So I haven't been going up against the big tier decks yet. I'm gonna play one more quickie here. One more quickie. Uh-oh. We got an Ugin. Can't have the Ugin. I don't love this hand, but I don't hate it. Depending on the matchup, we have some pretty decent things that could happen here. That I hate. I hate that draw for sure. Because we don't have a green source for it. But we do have the Dragonkin Berserker. So we draw like a claim. We can take whatever opponent puts out here. And yep, that'd be the best case scenario. Unfortunately, that is not the best case scenario. So we could just lose this one due to mana screw here. But still think it's a keepable hand. The Village Rites are fine with the Crowan War. I'd hate it to get fought with a Wicked Wolf. Just give me a turn to do that. So we're playing its food. Ah, boo. Look at this. Another wrong color source. Do have a lot of green sources left, though. So 6 mana for a Euron and something? A Visionary. Yeah, we're dead to this one. I don't think there's a way out of this. We have a Crowan War, though, if we hit a land. We do hit a land. So we have a Crowan War. And a Crowan War can take the Yorov. And now my opponent can't attack in this turn. We can Village Rites it to draw some cards. And it forces an attack as well. Crowan War is just super good versus other aggro mid-range decks. Wonder if this one needs to go up to a full of 4. Definitely a full of 4 in the sideboard. That was actually pretty rough. Because it can fight. Oh, decides not to. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. That's awesome. Another Gilded Goose. Because now when I put attacks in, they can... So we can block next turn and fight. Well, we can go the Immerstorm Predator. That's another way to sacrifice it. But the Village Rites is just better. And this gives us... Oh, I spent it all as red. Yeah. So this one is definitely going to be a green. And now I have to make a choice here. We want the Village Rites. I'd rather draw some cards than get out of 3/3. Oh, then we do give it Indestructible. So is it better than drawing cards? I think a Goose is better here. Because Loosey Goosey can block Kogla. And our opponent's out of cards, and we should have some pretty decent draws coming up. Opponent has to attack in. Yorvo just got to a 6/6, so now Yorgo can actually block Kogla. Doesn't really matter. Garruk Unleashed is obnoxious for sure. It can give something +3/+3 and trample. I'm thinking it's just going on. Whoa. Gonna go on Wicked Wolf. So, that actually is awesome. That is very, very good. Because what we're going to get out is a lot of Oh, gets it back, and I'm a moron. I'm a moron. Yep, immediately gets it back. I was going to say I could block, but I'd have to sack it right there. Yep. There's my mistake. All right, I want another game because that was a terrible, terrible noob mistake here. I don't know if we would have survived because we're taking 6. We were taking a lot, and then we wouldn't have a lot of ways to deal with the opponent's board state, especially with a Garruk. But, yeah, sacrificing that and blocking the 7/6. We're taking 6, taking 9 damage after that. All right, this is a much better hand. This is a beautiful hand. Hopefully we're going up against a aggressive deck. We are not, but we did see this matchup before, and we do have a Goose into a Trail of Crumbs, which we saw how that worked out last time as well. That is a pretty decent start. I think that we still would want, what we want here, still red off of, hope they don't kill Loosey Goosey until they let us untap. Okay, that's good. So now we can go, yeah, I think, now I think we want a black. Yeah, we want a black here. And I guess it didn't matter what we wanted. Now we can go Trail of Crumbs. And that way we can hit what we need to hit. with the Trail of Crumb sack, as well as... Oh, no, we don't want to do that. Or do we? Yeah, we'll do it. That's just our other land drop. That's fine with the... If our opponent decides they want to kill it. That's fine. That's fine. So, and we have another goose, so... This will get a red. This will get a goose. Yeah, we weren't down cards. There's one Behold out of the way. So sideboards. Sideboards definitely I would pack in a ton of enchantment hate. Because Shark Typhoon is going to be a card that is, well, you still have the Claim the Firstborns that can take a big Shark Typhoon token. And they don't make, like, they make 4 mana off of the Shark Typhoon, is what usually their biggest one is. But they get a lot of little ones from Bone Crusher Giants and Brazen Borrowers and other Shark Typhoons. And now I think I'll just hold everything up. So let's do another Fabled Passage. And get another red source. And we'll use one of our red source for Witch's Oven, because now this really protects us. There could be like a negate here for Witch's Oven. It is a pretty strong card with the stuff that we have. But I'm not going to activate anything here. Now I'm going to put out a Berserker. We need to draw into like an Akroan War. We will be wanting to kill our goose pretty soon here. Shark Typhoon for 2. Now we can just kill the Shark Typhoon. I'm really loving it that they're cycling these sharks. Because it is such a good card that I don't think I can beat. Something like a Thrashing Brontodon would be amazing. Okay, so... Do we want to block and sack here? I think that's probably... Are we going to get any more value out of Loosey Goosey? Get a land. Get a Village Rise. This doesn't have trample, right? We love an Akroan War. Oh, there's our lands now. But we can grab the Shark. That's a decent draw, too. That is a decent draw. Trying to figure out if we want the Immerstorm Predator or if we'd rather... I think we do want the Predator while we can still utilize it. And we still have another Village Rites. Absolutely Wicked Wolf in the sideboard. Thrashing Bronton, Wicked Wolf. Possibly at that point you could go for like a Henge in the side for these really grindy as another way to grind out even more. And then your usual suspects like give me a Frostbite on my Immerstorm Predator. Brazen Borrower. I'm gonna eat it. Ooh, oof. That's a big oof. So it gets rid of the Brazen Borrower. I am taking 1 billion damage from the Goldspan Dragon, and I just didn't have an answer for it. We needed an Akroan War for the Goldspan. Hopefully a Shark Typhoon's not coming out now. A Kroxa would be nice too. taking 6 and a treasure token back. It adds 2 whopping mana, so you can like Shark Typhoon and hold up a counter spell. I think that's what we're going to see. That's going to be very, very tough to beat. Yep. So, unfortunately, we are flooding out. We'll claim our little shark here. Gonna frostbite it, huh? I mean, still works. I mean, that's actually that's kind of a weird. I don't need to do it now. I think we can claim this one. Gives another food. So, do we want the Demon Berserker? We do not. There's another little combo. Claim the Firstborn with Dragonkin Berserker. Ooh, that is not good for us. That is really not good. Is there a way around this? We are taking a boatload of damage. Just going to go ahead and do this right now. We need a Crowan War. I mean, it's a dragon, but it's a weak dragon. Ouch! I don't think we're going to survive another hit like that. That is not where we want to be there either. Like, do we even try to put out anything? Like, I think our only option is a Crowan and hope that a counterspell is not in our opponent's hand. So, we'd have to crack this. Unfortunately, it's just that. We do gain some life. We get a dragon that's going to be countered, probably, and then swing in for lethal. Okay. No, we're fine. So we have a blocker. It's a frostbite, so I'm actually still alive. Opponent's going to be out of frostbites, too. But I don't know if there's a way we can stop enough damage regardless. Extinction Event off the top, which is a reasonable sideboard card as well. 4 mana in my opponent's hand still. I don't think Claim's going to get us there. So I think we should play a land. Crack. That doesn't really help us either is the problem. Croaksta doesn't help us. Womp womp. Puts us to 4. Croaksta can come down. Let's hold priority because we'll Witch's Oven it. No, Witch's Oven doesn't give us enough. We'll still be at 7. And there's a Saw coming anyway. There you have it. They get the jump on us. That was a lot of digging. Dig, 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 dig. And not finding much. I think this will be a good best of 3 deck, though, because you get a lot of utility from the sideboard being able to bring in cards that just do well. You have access to the green-red god that is good at grinding out control decks. You have access to, like, Ox that's good versus rogues. That gives us even more things versus rogues. Or you can even put another sacrifice dude in the board there. Extinction Event, of course, can go on the sideboard. I think you could run some stuff for Ugins to rip them out like Duresses. But all in all, that's all she wrote for us this week. This has been Kevin with the Rogue Deck Builder. Thanks for watching.